Hey, how you doing? My name is Robert, and I'm the minister at the Midtown Church of Christ. And I just want to do a video for the scholar that's ran by Michael Moore, and just talk about how beneficial it's been to be being part of that class. I've learned a lot in that class. Mike's just an outstanding teacher from the hermeneutics that he's taught and the principles he's taught, studying scripture, and to the administrative side of this ministry. The scholar has been able to cover all bases, especially if you are someone who wants to get involved
What
in
are these
ministry.
videos?
It doesn't even matter what level of knowledge or
I
understanding you have, there's going to
What
be
are these
beneficial to
videos
you,
we're looking at?
even if you.
This feed. What is that?
don't understand what you're saying.
The videos that you got playing on the thing. When did you record those?
When did I record it?
Yeah, these right here where you got your sister talking and Dante,
I,
myself.
I didn't record it at all. Y'all recorded that stuff, and and then
Oh,
y'all recorded
okay.
all that and sent those to me, and then I used it to make the
Oh,
video.
okay.
Y'all recorded most of that stuff last year.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is my first time seeing them.
Yeah, well, I was trying to get everyone to. Well, that is a complete difference, isn't it? Wow, that is complete difference. Hold on one second. Oh,
Midtown Church of Christ. And I just want to do a video for the scholar that's ran by Michael Moore, and just talk about how beneficial it's been to be being part of that class. I've learned a lot in that class. Mike's just an outstanding teacher from the hermeneutics that he's taught and the principles he's taught,
slightly better, but not as better. Let's see.
and to the administrative side of this ministry. The scholar's been able to cover all bases, especially if you are someone who wants to get involved in ministry. It doesn't even matter what level of knowledge or understanding you have, it's going to be beneficial to you. So even if you.
A little better, not great, but I guess that's what we're getting right now. I think I'm gonna start to record from my phone though.
Okay.
Do I have? Let's see.
Well, uh, I don't know if you talked. I don't know what came. Are you still waiting to hear from in these churches, or somebody already made you an offer? But I do know a Chatham Avalon is about to have an opening.
About to what?
They got an opening.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Robert,
What?
and I'm the minister at the Midtown Church
Yeah,
of
I
Christ.
haven't said nothing. I'm not gonna bring it out. I'm telling you because he asked me not to say nothing to nobody. But they done fired that
Talk about
Chauncey.
how beneficial it's
If he
been to
telling
be
me the truth, he
being
called me
part
the
of
other
that
day.
class. I've learned a
It
lot.
must have been something that's been brewing for a long time. He said they're gonna make it official. The official word gonna be he resigned.
From the hermeneutics
But
that
he
he's
told me
taught
they fired him.
and the principles he's taught,
What?
studying scripture, and
Why is
He
that?
told me
Why is
to the
that?
he
administrative side of this ministry.
he he's
The scholar's
he
been able
said
to
this
cover
over this
all
letter. I'll talk to you about
bases,
that letter another time. That
some
between because I don't in case she get on here. That
beneficial
was something about that a business deal between him and
to you,
Letitia back when he was here.
so even if you.
But it's more than that. He said most are him and the elders don't get along. But I think this is I guess this letter that came to the church was the last straw.
Who was the letter from?
Some guy that was representing Letitia about a bad business transaction that was never settled between her in Chauncey.
What?
Something that happened over several years ago.
This is why you leave. This is why you leave your bridges intact and try not to burn them down.
Well, I see the whole thing with that Letitia and him is that, you know, they both, well, she really was into him. She was really into him, and he was trying to take advantage of it. She really wanted to be with him. And so he took advantage of that opportunity.
I remember.
So she co-signed for him a car, and dude stopped making them payments. So they started sending her letters. And so he eventually gave her the car back, but then she was still left with the debt of, you know, I got my car back, but now they want the money for the car.
Of course.
And so he told her that's her problem. And so,
right.
So when you compile that with the fact that she really liked him. So now, you know, she's emotional and you got her financially stuck. You know, she ain't never let it go.
The old saying goes, there's nothing worse than a woman scorned.
Yeah. So, but he said that was the final straw. So I guess that's that guy that called himself representing her sent that letter to the church. And I guess the elders got their hands on it. And according to him, but I know it's got to be more than just that. He ain't telling me everything. But I don't know, because he had called me the other day talking about coming to laying low in Racine. I'm like, do whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, these dudes fired me.
What? I'm sure that Terry Atwater and Stephen Thompson will be on their way. I mean, they can't really do nothing, but they might negotiate those things. Wow.
No. He said his dad called them, but that was about it. So whatever it is to the serious of the point. I guess he said that I guess Dr. Harrison, the elders told him Dr. Harrison can't save you. So he ain't even the minister no more. So you out.
When did he tell you this?
Man, this was on Thursday.
What?
He called me. He kept calling me and kept texting me on Thursday. I'm like, then, dude, I'm at work, man. I'm trying to tell you, just like I'm at work right now. I'm trying to get all this work in because we about to be done. So I finally called him because he was like, man, I got some really bad news. So I'm like, bad news? I'm thinking it's some more foolishness about something with Midtown. So I called him real quick. I said, I got like 5 minutes. Hey, man, these niggas fired me.
He might be, that's again, it's not official. He might be sensing that there's trouble.
I don't know. He said he told me fire. He said he got a moving truck at the house.
Get out of town.
I thought it was wild and crazy. I said, man, I said, man, are you trying to prank me? Because I'm like, dude, you haven't even been there a year. He said it's been 9 months. Like I said, unless he was over exaggerating, he said, man, they fired me. He said, well, the official word going to be is that I resign. He said, but I'm telling you, he said, they fired me and I think I'm going to sue them too. Oh, he said he's going to sue Letitia. He's going to sue Letitia is what he said he's going to do. He's going to sue Letitia.
He won't win that.
I don't know why. I told him he should really reconsider, think about it. But
go on and move on with your life.
That's what I told him.
Do not spend your time focused on things that really aren't going to change the trajectory. And you got to make sure that you don't burn bridges, because those same bridges will come back and burn you. I mean, he was, in my opinion, he just had, I don't know if it's true or not, because again, he could be just exaggerating the drama of it all. But if it's true, I mean, you know, that sucks, because he was really in a good position. He was really in a good position to salvage what happened out of Midtown. And then I think after he left Midtown, where did he go?
He went down to Decatur. That was the only job he got. He got that job down in Decatur. Remember, Illinois, that Jasper Street Church of Christ. So, and what he did is while he was down there, he had only been there not even 2 years yet. And I guess they had been working behind the scenes to get that Chatham Avalon. But see, he kind of did them dirty because once he got that job at Chatham Avalon,
Right.
he just came in one Sunday and told them, I'm done. Y'all
I'm
better
gone.
find y'all somebody. I'm out. That's why Dante was going down there. He left him high and dry. He didn't give him no notice, no heads up, no time to fill the position.
What's
He just
crazy is
bounced
that
on him.
okay,
Huh?
well then I it was Decatur, Illinois. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
now things are starting to make.
Illinois.
I was not paying attention to any of this. I just was like, I don't know what I assumed. I don't think I was paying any mind. I'm sure
see.
Chatham Avalon will salvage whatever they're doing by hiring somebody else bad.
I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it ain't nothing been made. I don't think the word is out yet, but I guess according to him, it's coming.
Well, if you know, and I just couldn't understand. I wouldn't understand why Chauncey would be running to you to tell you.
I don't understand
tell
that
you
either.
that.
I don't know why. Don't ask me. That's why I said I don't know if this. I'm like, are you trying to prank me or see if I'm gonna spread the rumor and put the word out there or something? I mean, I don't know. I don't know why of all he come telling me. I don't know.
As I mean this. I don't know. I'm again. You might be his only confidant that he could really talk to. I guess. I mean, there's no Mark Thompson anymore.
Yeah, that is true, and I know a lot of times, as bad as he could be, sometimes Mark would allow him to call him and kind of vent his frustrations and pressures, no matter what. So he will call me from time to time and complain about this or complain about that, and I'll listen to him and stuff, because I ain't nobody, so ain't nothing I can do for you, but I can listen to you. That's about it, really.
Wow. Well, I mean, Neil Lopez.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard anything through the rumor mill in Illinois? Concerning Chauncey Thompson?
Yes, I heard he ran into some trouble, some situation.
Who did you hear this from?
I don't remember, man.
When did you hear this?
About a week or two ago.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I just heard it. He called me personally Thursday. I haven't been telling anybody because, like I said, in case it's not true or whatever, go out. But he called and told me that they fired him. He said they're gonna make it seem like he resigned, but they fired him. That's what he told me. So we'll see. We'll see. I guess. I don't know.
Well, again, they didn't. Jeez. I'm learning not to do these "I told you so's" because that's a bad habit that I have. But you know what? Before they hired Chauncey, I tried calling there for 2 years. I tried calling and trying to get in touch with Brother Harrison and finding out what was going on, and just kind of, me and Doc Harrison had a really good relationship. But I never got an answer. And then, of course, out of the blue, they hired Brother Thompson, and I was genuinely happy for him. I'm not upset, or I don't have space for those kind of things. But I did. I hope it's just in a rumor mill and maybe not an actual thing. He's really just not had a good go of ministry. And I'm hoping that, I'm not sure, man. I'm hoping that things will work well for him.
Yeah, I told him the same thing.
I mean, the Chatham Avalon was probably the best it was going to get for him, even though Chatham Avalon is not at its greatest place. I mean, to be at a church in Chicago, I'm sorry, bro. If the Chatham Avalon is built to grow. It's built to grow. If you didn't really have to do much. You just really needed, it's a great situation. They have a really comfortable situation. And sometimes that's not always a good thing because of their financial security. I'm not sure what it is now. I'm sure that even with they have a health center on the campus that was generating money for them, but with the attendance probably staggered for many, many years, I'm sure that their overall income isn't as solid, but it's solid enough.
They
I don't
wanted
know.
the
Go ahead.
guy told me that he wanted me to consider it. When I first got to Maywood, because he really know me, man. You know what I'm saying? But he took me in. That's my son. Blah blah blah. Man, turned out to be a whole different story. And what I heard about Chauncey, I think it was perhaps Pop Pointer or Luke or it was one of them. And it didn't have anything to do with him being fired. It's about a situation between him and his wife. I didn't know the rumor that I don't double up on rumors only because you asked, right? And we're in a comfortable space. But he ran into some challenges with his wife.
Well, at one time he told me, I know they were going through a rough spot because he was really ticked off with her because I guess she was spending most of her time because they just weren't getting along. They ain't even made it. This is like early on still, and she was spending most of her time in Milwaukee. She wasn't even at home. She wasn't even with him. She was spending her time in Milwaukee. So I was like, man, you better get your wife to her come home. That's what she's from, Milwaukee.
Oh, she's from Central.
Nope. She ain't part of the church.
Okay, she's just a Milwaukee girl.
She's just a Milwaukee girl. Her family has got something to do with some big Baptist church in Milwaukee.
Ouch.
Ouch, right? Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought I was being, but I told him, I said, look, man, I just got to Maywood, boom. I can't do that and have any integrity, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how that went, but,
I think Harrison was similar to Brother Carl Backus. I think they might have stayed too long in their pulpits, similar to Brother, to Dr. It's escaping me his name. But I think they might have stayed too long in their pulpit and didn't really have a transition plan. And I think that when Daniel was at the point where he just really couldn't do what he was doing, I mean, he really was. Daniel hasn't been in the best shape to preach in years. And there have been several things that kind of hampered the growth of that church and steered growth and pushed people out of the church to Sheldon Heights, which is why Sheldon wasn't really growing. I say that Sheldon was really swelling, at least from what it seemed to me. But I think he just stayed longer than he should have in his pulpit. And when it was time for him to transfer, he didn't. And so it just so happened by the turn of the cards, Chauncey was in a position where he was new in the Illinois area and could take a church. And I also think there was pressure to do that because Justin took the church at Sheldon Heights.
Oh, trying to match youth with youth? Trying to match youth with youth?
Yeah, most churches of Christ don't do nothing new. They just copying what other people do.
Well, that's the modus operandi in Chicago right now. They're replacing young men. The pulpits are being filled with young men.
And I don't want to say what I'm gonna say.
Well, just be honest. Boom.
Because that's not that. What I'm gonna say is just again. I think that there's been a steady lack of moral integrity for the sake of putting someone in a pulpit. So several of these brothers that have taken these pulpits in the Chicago area, from my own personal knowledge, have unsavory characters that have already shown that they've been in trouble prior, and yet they've still been put into pulpits, excused without any kind of real severity. And so I don't know if people were just, I don't know what the motive is when I see that kind of happening. And I don't really see that there, again, Miles, Luke just hired into I don't think, where did Luke Miles' son go?
He was there. He went to Southwestern.
No, where did he go?
He didn't go anywhere.
His son.
One of his sons went south. What's that congregation down there, man? It's popular. Luke Miles was there. I mean, Matthew Miles was there.
Yeah, I forget where his other son went. Not Matthew. Anyway,
I know, but his son went there. It's a congregation that Brother Harrison is familiar with. I can't South something, maybe. That's
also the link, is that. So anyway, I hope it work out for that brother. I hope that's not a true rumor. If it is, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's not a rumor. You heard it directly from him.
I mean, as he called and told me Thursday, kept blowing my phone up. I'm like, man, what is it, bro? He's like, man, like I said, he told me, he said, they fired me. He said, they're gonna tell everybody I resigned, but they fired me. And like I said, but it had to be something big building up. It couldn't have just been no one incident. He told me, I knew about the one incident, but I'm like, Chauncey, it's got to be more than that. He said, they just don't like me. He said, they never have liked me. I told you the whole thing with that girl and that letter and that card. I'm like, I said, Chauncey, it can't just be that one incident, bro. It's got to be more than that. It can't just be no one incident. He said, no, they just don't like me. They never have liked me.
Well, how come they hired him if they didn't like him?
That's what I said. He said they never liked me. He said
it wasn't that they never liked him. It was again. If you just notice how he got that church, it was more of a power play. It was the shifting tides of the church. I don't think that this is going to be the last that you see like this. Chauncey's an extreme case because unfortunately Chauncey has some habits that hinder his ministry from being effective. And again, if he is fired from Chatham Avalon and the church covers it up, it would be no better than the Catholic Church.
Right.
Because now you're sending Chauncey to somewhere else where he could possibly do damage at that place as well.
That's what we typically do, though, isn't it? And like I said, it's a two-edged sword. On one hand, it's a difficult position to be in that pulpit, and it's a lot that comes along with it. That's why I say I do feel bad for him, but at the same time, there's a responsibility that comes along with it as well too. And sometimes you can just do things that make it more difficult than it have to be. Like you said, sometimes it's just things about your character, things that you do that you ought not even be engaging in, that will compound the problem.
And I'm not so much, I don't know if feel sorry for Chauncey is what I feel. I feel that there were several, I have children. So oftentimes I tell my children that they have unrealistic expectations. And so it causes them to not process what's in front of them correctly to make certain moves. And the reason I say that is because Chauncey, in all estimations, had a second chance. and we can lobby it against the church. We can lobby it against the church, but the first instance that I'm not sure I'm aware of that you're talking about is enough to tell me that he brought something from outside that church inside that church. And if you know anything about Chatham Avalon, the reason why those elders acted that way is because the last scandal Chatham Avalon had almost tore them up. So they are very PTSD. The last scandal that they had was with Dr. Harrison, his son,
yeah,
and that money that helped build that house down in Atlanta. And that killed Chatham Avalon. And that's why all of those people probably, like cockroaches, skedaddled to Sheldon Heights. That's why I said that Sheldon Heights didn't grow, it swole. And so in the back of their minds, churches think that they walk through fire and that they just move on from it. But just as ministers suffer trauma when they're fired and don't process it, but move on to another church, or when they're let go, they don't process it and move on to another church. Churches also, when they are hurt, do not process it. They do exactly what is being said is being done with Chauncey. They rewrite the narrative so to save face, but they're not saving face. When they rewrite that narrative, they are prolonging the trauma that will then be passed on to the minister that comes afterwards. And when churches do that, again, I would say, Robert, most of what you are dealing with is not simply Midtown. You are dealing with symptoms from the last minister who was there and the non-treatment of it. And it's compounded pressure. It is compounded issues. And so churches have to be walked through a series of therapeutic moments in order to recover from the tragedy that they felt. If you don't walk your church through recovery and just assume, again, this is why in every church I was at, one of the first texts that I would normally preach was the Isaiah text of dry bones. And I would preach it constantly because I believe that text really was emblematic of churches. When you go into churches, it might seem on the surface that they're organized, ready to go, and up and running. But you will ultimately find out, because churches quickly, you don't have participation. Churches will quickly show because you don't have attendance. Churches will quickly show because they're not invested in programs or any of the things that you're trying to do. Churches will quickly show that because the finances will bounce up and down like it's going off the wall with a rubber ball. Those are all indications that the church is not just unstable, but is emotionally not recovered from whatever they went through. And because churches don't realize the sheer gravity and tragic rent, R-E-N-T, that goes on in the community's spirit, in the community's soul, when a minister moves, when a family moves, that we too easily gloss it over. Even when a member leaves the church and is not really clarified why they leave, it causes trauma. And you will normally see that trauma if a member leaves and it's not clarified and it's made to seem like everything was fine when clearly we know it wasn't. You will begin to see people agitated. Other people will become agitated because it was never treated. This is why I say in your church, you should find you a human resources minister, a troubleshoot minister, someone who, when trouble happens, there is a minister who comes in to help heal, to help walk the church back to recovery. And don't move from that process. The church is not moving from that process. You think the church will, this is why people go, leave and see what happened. The church will still go on. It will, but it will be damaged from what just took place. And the church has to stop rewriting the narrative of why things happen. So the thing that I pray for Chatham Avalon is that it gets its story right, that it doesn't try to rewrite the story of what happened with this young man. If they want the next minister to come in, if this is happening, if they want the next minister to come in and have any hope, and most ministers who are coming in won't heed or listen to anything I'm saying because they don't know this. They don't know it at all. They go into churches full of sparkles in their eyes and full of dreams of what they're going to do to a church that is long-term terminal. And so what that church needs to do is get its story right. Don't try to cover it up and say, oh, well, he just left, or do what unhealthy marriages do and call it irreconcilable differences. No, you need to claim what took place in that church and own who are the real malfactors in the church that caused that issue to happen. That's why when people try to tell the story of what took place at any of the churches I was at, I've reclaimed what I tell as the story. So no one, I read an article for Kennedy Heights when they merged the churches. It was in the Christian Chronicle. And what they wrote about me wasn't much to give thought to, but you should have seen the outrage. Ministers from all across the brotherhood was contacting me going, did you read the Christian Chronicle expose on the Kennedy Heights? They railroaded you. And I was like, of course, I wasn't paying it no attention because I don't care. I didn't care at the time, but I noticed that I allow other people to tell my story. And the way they told it was so biased, was so not correct, was so inaccurate of what actually happened that I felt almost, I mean, at the time I didn't care because I had literally turned my back on the church. I was about to become a millionaire with a food truck. I didn't care. But later on, I realized that it wasn't healthy. And it wasn't healthy for Kennedy Heights because they told a story that wasn't true. And it is hard to build on a story that's incorrect. You can only keep that lie up for so long. So that's, unfortunately, if this does happen, I'm sure he'll just go ahead and get to another church. I'm not sure if it's going to, it'll be a momentary stall, but I'm sure he's going to.
He told me he told me he's going to start his own work.
I could definitely see that too. I don't see that beyond Chauncey Thompson.
He's young enough. You don't have the resources. You don't have the resources.
I don't know if he needs the resources necessarily. He's young enough to where he could do it. The question is, where would he do it? And if he does it in Chicago, okay. That would be my only thought, is that he's going to stay in Chicago because he's not going back to Milwaukee and starting a church, not in the same space where his daddy is. So this is normally what happens to most ministers, is they start contemplating that they're going to start their own work. And hopefully, if they leave, the idea is that they're going to rent the church and take some of the members who actually like Chauncey with him. So when he says he's going to start a church, he really means he's going to tear up a church in order to start his own work. He doesn't mean that he's going to start his own church, because most churches are not. Most of the churches that are planted in our religious tradition are not planted; they are tear-offs. So I don't mean that with any disrespect. I love Alvin Daniels, but the Hope Church of Christ is those who left with him from Pembroke Park to start Hope Church of Christ. So we tore up a church to start a church. I don't remember this dude. Trey. I don't know what his name is. I think there's one example of a black church that started as a plant. Other than that, it's very hard to say. So he could do it, but again, he's younger. He's young. He's got youth on his side. That's the one thing he has. He has youth on his side, and planting churches is a young person's game. Although there are clearly tons of older ministers who are getting into the game, in church growth research, it's normally considered a young person's game. So he could, not saying that he knows how or knows what. He doesn't really need the resources. He just, you know, I don't think he's really saying when he says he's going to start a church. My idea is that if he's in Chicago, he's going to try to get some of the members who were upset, are going to be upset in Chicago at Chatham Avalon, and cause them to leave and move where he's going. That's what I think's about to happen.
Who mentored him? Did his dad mentor him? Because
he didn't really get a chance to get mentored much by anyone.
I found that
he kind of came right out of school. When he came out of school, I think he spent maybe a few months, 6 months, not even a year, with his dad, and then he was at Midtown.
I find that to be a real challenge, because I remember, man, when I left school, even though I didn't go to Southwestern or anything like that, I went directly to Dr. Wells. The first person I spoke to in New York City was Dr. Wells. And Dr. Wells recommended me talk to Brother Lawton. And I asked Brother Wells, man, when you going to start a school? This is one of the reasons, and I got better things to do than to blow smoke up your butt, Dr. Moore. But I appreciate what you bring and what you pour into our lives. There are people in the pulpits now who are not borderline deficient, desperately deficient in the stuff that you share with us openly, freely.
Amen.
You know, man.
Amen.
They need mentors.
Amen.
They need mentors.
I think we talked about this. I want to say we talked about this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Why mentorship is, man, it's crucial. It's really crucial having mentorship, and I can tell you, yeah, it's crucial. It makes a big difference. Age ain't got nothing to do with it. You need mentorship.
You need mentorship, bro.
You need mentorship.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. You need mentorship.
Not just in ministry, man, in life.
Yeah, you need mentorship.
Especially in ministry. If you're gonna be a minister, boy, you gotta have some spiritual fathers, man. Period.
Oh, amen.
You gotta have that. And in most advanced disciplines, training is a continual part of that discipline set. So there are people who are surgeons in the medical field who have to continue to go to conferences, workshops, classes. It's constantly being updated. It's constantly being researched and evaluated so that new methods can, because what happens in the medical field, which is really profound, is that even though we have all of these wonderful ways of healing people and working on people, and even the things that used to take years to do, we now have better advancement in, is because we have research. And when that research comes out, everyone in the medical field who's in that particular field, they go so that they can get the updated information so that they can be at their best in the field to help human beings. And I truly believe that ministry is a medical field. I don't know if it'll ever be considered that. I don't know if we'll ever think about it that way, but I consider ministry a medical field of the same caliber as a heart surgeon, of the same caliber of a brain surgeon, because we operate on a part of the body which is so critical. And so not only must our skills be updated and enhanced and developed, but the tools that we use so that we can reach the lost, save the lost, keep those who are saved, must continually be sharpened. And it's a lifelong process, which is, I mean, again, you'll find that there are doctors in the medical field who still at 80 years old are still going to conferences because there's something new to learn about cancer. There's
Yes,
something
sir.
new to learn about HIV.
Always.
There's always something to learn about this craft. And so I think that what the effort is in this cohort that we're trying to build collaborative effort around is because I think that to prepare us not only for now, but to prepare us for 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and keep updating what we learn is a part of what our craft expectational list is.
Not only that, but a part of my training, and I didn't get this in school, is whatever is poured into you, ultimately, 2 Timothy 2:2, we have a responsibility
To transfer.
to pass. Yes. So the work, and again, I'm just using you as an example. You don't have to boom, boom, boom. The work that you're doing with us, we're going to naturally pour into
Correct.
others.
Correct.
Yeah.
And again,
I just think that is so.
this is why I wish
Man.
all age groups could participate in things like this. I think it's to me, it doesn't have to just be this. It could be any platform, but I think that the consistent. This is why I try to be consistent with what we're doing, because we hear stories like we're talking about right now, and it's just I mean, literally, what was that, Robert? I think no more than 5 weeks ago, less than
It's
5
sad.
weeks ago, Rob, less than 4 weeks ago, you said on one of our Zoom meetings, hey man, that guy Chauncey wanted to reach out to you.
Man, and I thought about that afterwards. He was trying to get that ministry stuff. He said, I really, really need to know. I'm like, what are you talking about, Chauncey? Once again, he said, man, I need to, them programs. I said, you didn't run none of Michael Moore programs when you came there. You didn't run none of his program. And that's why I said, you know what, you need to really try to reach out to him, contact Michael Moore. And if you want to talk, and I know he wouldn't. And then even when I offered, I said, hey, he'll talk to you. I mean, it ain't gonna be no big deal on him. I mean, if he can help you, he'll help you. But I knew his pride wasn't going to allow him to do that. So he wanted to do it through me. He didn't want to have that conversation with you because pridefully he ain't going to be sit there and admit that, hey, man, I need some help. He's one of them people that won't do that. I'll tell you real quick, hey, man, I need help. I need a lot of help.
We just had that conversation 4 weeks ago, and you then turn around 4 weeks later and say, they let him go. Like that to me is such a tragic, and again, my heart goes out to him because whoever's mentoring him, going back to the idea of mentorship, whoever's talking to him, who's ever guiding him, who's ever talking to him, really needs to press upon him at this juncture. If this actually does happen to him, I would recommend some kind of counselship before he goes into his next pulpit.
So that was always a problem. I think to me, him and his dad always had a troubled relationship. His dad, is one of them people that you don't ruin my image. Do not mess up my image nor my name. So even go back to the time when he was here at Midtown. Midtown was willing to keep him. We told him, you know what? And of all people who told him that back at the time, it was still Mel, it was Botwell, and it was Ray. Botwell and Ray said, hey, listen. Go get some counseling for your addiction. Go take some time. Take 6 months off. He said, man, we'll still even pay you. We'll pay you. Take 6 months off. Do some counseling for your addiction. Your job will be here securely waiting on you. Don't even worry about it. Don't trip. We promise. That's a promise. Mel was like, no, but them two said no. We'll keep his job and we'll pay him. Just go get the counseling and deal with your addiction. His daddy told him, don't do that. They're gonna fire you the moment you leave. And plus, I don't want you doing it around here. If you do something like that, you better go out of state because I don't want people to know that you in rehab or counseling. Don't do that to me. So the only reason he wound up ultimately getting released here at Midtown because he wouldn't go do it, and he had already been given so many chances. He had already been there like 3 years doing the same stuff, You know,
Wow.
same old thing with his addiction and not stopping, and between the addiction and the women, and they're like, you know, that enough is enough.
And those are the two reasons, my brother, that someone gets out the church. You got to stay away from the money and the honey, brothers. The money.
Well, I told the church when I got here, which is 17, 16 years ago, I'm done. I played my stuff, all that stuff you chase as a young man. I'm not chasing it anymore, and that has not changed. That's
don't
one
even know if we can keep up
man,
with it.
huh?
Don't even know at this point if we can keep up with it.
Man, please, look, I am.
And your ministry, well, so
ain't no woman.
there are many, all I would say this, all of the traps that snare the rich and the famous are the same traps that snare the profession of ministry.
Woo.
I've always been fascinated how and you don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be a celebrity in ministry to still have and see all of the same trappings that are in celebrityism are in ministry. And you have to be, the thing that I was told when I was in theater, which everyone knows, is that ministry only magnifies what are your weaknesses. It does not magnify your strength. It magnifies your weaknesses, and it puts it on high resolution microscope. And so whatever your comorbidities, that's a huge word. Whatever your
co-killers, you talking about your co-killers?
Your proclivities, as Dr. Washington would say. Your provocations and your provocativity. Those get exposed. And I learned that when I was watching my mentor, but I also learned it when I was at Midtown. I learned that the whole idea of shun the appearance of evil, try your best to show yourself to be a good steward of the gospel of Jesus Christ in both word and action and deed. I really understood that at that point, because there was a point I don't think anyone was aware of besides me and my family, where there was a concerted effort to try to find something of unsavoriness about me. I remember that there was a concerted effort to find, as a matter of fact, I will say that there was a private investigator hired, I don't know if he was hired, tasked to try to find something out on me. Was I being unsavory in any kind of way? And thank goodness, brother and sister Pittman, Ioana, and what was Ioana's wife's name?
Sister Bobwell first name?
Jean. Yeah, Ioana and Jean, they were very conscientious of talking to me and helping me steer clear of moments. I remember Phyllis Pittman, bless her soul, to this day. The only reason I'll never have a problem with Phyllis Pittman is because I was doing a counseling session in my office. Sarah Bostic was the person I was counseling. After our counseling session, Phyllis came in my office. She was working as a nurse across the hall. She came in my office and she go, "You know, I love you." I said, "I know." And she said, "Don't ever have anybody in your office with that door closed. Don't ever do it." And I never took it as if Phyllis was trying to chastise me. I knew she was guarding me. I knew she was. And that day forward, ask Sister Pittman, I never had my door closed after that. I never had it closed because I didn't even think about it. I was counseling people. People was coming in and out of the door. I wasn't thinking at all. She was like, "Don't keep that door closed at all." And what I ended up finding out later, of course, this is not to be well, it's on video. What what I found out later was because the minister who had come before me had some he had a problem with that. A problem that existed well after he left the congregation that I had to help him with, of him compromising his integrity because of sexual lust and all those kind of things. And so, you know, I was so thankful that Sister Pittman and Sister Boutwell especially was kind of there. Matter of fact, even Sister Turner. Robert, let me ask you a real off question here. Is Sister Turner dead?
No, she's alive, but I don't think her health is all that great.
Oh, okay. I stopped seeing. I was, you know what? I Facebook friend requested Mel and Sister Turner.
Did you? Yeah. Last time I talked to Mel, he came for a funeral. I'm trying to remember whose funeral it was. Oh, yeah, it was Pat McKinney's mother's funeral, OCP. And I asked him about it. He told me, he said, Margot ain't doing that well. So he came by himself. Now, of course, Mel looking younger and younger. I was like,
yeah, you're telling me.
Man, you're the only person I know that's aging.
Oh, hey, now here's the funny part. Here's the funny part, Rob, is that the funny part is that on Margot's Facebook, it's not updated since 2024. On Mel's Facebook, that brother has his updated since yesterday.
Yes, I believe you.
So I was like, is she dead? But Mel was on there smiling. I was like,
getting stronger and healthier. That dude getting younger and younger. But yeah, he told me she wasn't doing all that well. He said she don't really travel these days. He does. She don't travel these days.
Lord have mercy. I don't know, bro. I'm gonna tell you something, Robert. I don't know if the Mel Turner jokes by you and me will ever get old, brother. I don't think it will ever get old. Every time I hear you talk about Mel Turner, I die laughing. All right, Matthew, I want to get your thoughts on this.
Let me just interject. I have a appointment. I'm going to be leaving my office in a minute. I'll stay on, but I won't, I may have to leave about 9:30 or so. All right.
We will be done by then. I'm not going to hold everybody too long.
I'm just saying, Doc. I'm just saying. Yeah. We've been known to go till 11 o'clock.
I know.
Okay, so whatever the Spirit is doing, I just want to serve a respectful notice as to what, what could happen. Amen. That's all. That's all, Doc. That's all.
Neil, also speaking about the TikTok, Monday, I'm going to take a detour on Monday in the class and just begin and take a detour for a couple of weeks since we're at the end of this semester. I'm just going to walk through the next couple of weeks of the Monday class on social media.
I'm waiting, Doc.
And I think we're going to kind of look at it from a one-person army. So if you don't have a big staff, if you don't have a big crew, if you don't have a big, again, I think Rob might be on to something that he might not be thinking about right now. That you don't have video your worship services might be good. Mm-hmm. And moving from video, I want to test, Robert, at your congregation, if not videoing the worship service, but only videoing clips of the worship service might generate more activity and more viewership and drive in real life visitation. I want to experiment and see if it will actually work at your church.
I've always thought that too. I think you're onto something. I always thought it would be less is more. I always thought if we did any kind of video instead of video an entire worship, which I kind of think is lame, to be honest with you, just do little video inserts. Like, hey man, you just little shots here and there, some singing, maybe a few, like a 30 seconds of somebody praying, or 30 seconds of me preaching, just here and there, and then post that stuff.
And also
gain some people.
Because what I'll be showing is Neil, is that I don't mean to sideline for this, but what I'm gonna be showing is, so right now you got your website, Neil, you got YouTube and Facebook.
But the YouTube is Mike's. I'm trying to get my own now. I need to get my own. I'm waiting for you to share with me how to do that.
Okay, because what I would say is this: if the
NMCC,
if New Maywood, same with Racine, I would say that full videos should only be on YouTube and should only be loaded up Wednesdays or Fridays. Just one video, your long form video. If you want to, you could take the long form video and break it up. I would, to where it's just the sermon. That's all that needs to be on YouTube, is the sermon, not the entire worship. And then your social media accounts should be 30-second reels of that worship service, preaching, singing, something like that, kind of like what I showed you before. Mm-hmm. That way you're driving people to go view the longer version content at the YouTube page. Mm-hmm. And then again, I think the main thing you need to do is record love feasts. You need to get as many captions of every part of love.
I'm gonna cut you out, Mike. When is your next love feast, Neil? That's what I want to be a part of. I want to see one of these
June
love
28th.
feasts,
June 28th.
I don't know if I'll make that June 28th one, man. Come on, you're not gonna do one in July?
No, it's every 3 months.
It's every 3 months? Man, I gotta get to one of these love feasts, man. I want to experience one of these love feasts.
Well, and you ought to come on down and preach.
The two major things about the love feast that has to work is this. One, it can't, and I know this is Neil's gonna feel wrecked when I say all this. One, it can't just be a potluck. If that's all it is going to lose momentum quick. It can't just be a potluck. It really can't. A potluck is just an event where people bring different dishes and we sit down for a meal. And it can't just be a potluck. It's got to actually, what he should be trying to recreate is a first century experience. That's because it'll be totally authentic to them and will not be, it will be totally authentic to them. If it's just a potluck, I can go to any church and do a potluck. Why am I coming to the love feast? Is because it should literally feel like, this is the feeling that should happen from Luke 14, is that someone has literally rolled out the red carpet on my behalf, and I'm coming to a celebration exclusively for me. Now, in Matthew 22,
mm-hmm.
which is the same text of Luke 14, that love feast of Luke 14 is actually a wedding feast.
Yeah.
That changes the dynamic even more so. So it's not just a potluck. It's not just the love feast. It's supposed to be the picture here is of the kingdom of God. And he says it's a wedding celebration for the Son. It's a wedding celebration for the Son. And the people who are getting invited get to come to the celebration of the Son. Now, from a marketing standpoint, from a branding standpoint, everything you need is right there. Everything you need is right there to position your church as not just another meal, because every church is doing meals. What's the difference? We are cordially inviting you to the celebration of the Son. It's a celebration, and they are people. The invitation. That's why everything you do has to be branded around Love Feast. You can't be branded around Maywood. If you know how to really brand the church, Maywood becomes the Love Feast. Matter of fact, I just changed the name, Love Feast Church of Christ. Anyway, but the invitation itself. If I was doing an invitation, the invitations that I'm passing out would look like wedding feast invitations.
Okay.
The whole building, I would transform. I don't need no money to do that. I could do that from the Dollar Tree. I go to the Dollar Tree and I transform it to look like a banquet. And I would try to make it look like, but again, the position is this is not a wedding feast for those who are already there. Everybody who's at that church is a servant of the feast. Anything you do other than that just is reduced to a regular fellowship meal. Everyone at that church is a servant who brings in guests. So the wedding feast is about the guests and not about the servants.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that love feast and it's really just about a bunch of church people sitting around and having a meal versus all the church people before they sit down, all the church people before they have the meal, all the church people before they fill their belly, pour in and make sure that the guests have all they need, because it's about the guests. Again, it's a branding thing. It's a branding thing. I'd have a flower, a fake flower that would be a guest, just like a guest pass. That when people walked in who were guests, they would get flowers, so we know who the guests are. They'd be the first one to sit at the table, not the members who are there. They'd be the first one to get something to drink, get some food, not anyone who's a member. When you go to a church and they go, we want all the seniors to eat first, that's telling you that they don't give a rat's behind about anybody who came there to visit. Every time I go to a church and eat, do you know the first thing they do is they say the minister and his family come first? How is that? But you won't do it anyway. So the love feast should really be a marketing. The love feast is a right cross punch to knock out Maywood. It doesn't need it ain't about the preaching. It ain't about the singing. It ain't about the kids' church. I created an image for that church to where it could thrive simply on just having fellowship meals. And once it learns how to operate the meal, that everyone at that church should be serving. They should not be eating first. They should be serving first, because it's about the guests. It's about the guests. That's how that's the reposition of Love Feast, in my opinion. But the other thing is, which was number 2, is the reason why they're doing the Love Feast is because it is social media gold. It is social media gold. It's not even gold. It ain't even silver. It's social media platinum. It's platinum because they don't need to be filming. This goes back to what we're talking about. They don't need to be filming their worship. They don't have enough view. I mean, not that they don't have enough viewership. They don't need to be filming the worship. They should be filming. If they're going to film an hour worth of content, if they're going to film an hour worth of content, they should film people sitting at a table with unchurched people having a meal. That should be the whole film. Put some music behind it, live stream it, and I guarantee you will get more views, more responses, more comments, more questions about where you are than any of your worship or your sermons. And the Love Feast is meant to catapult, is to work backwards. The Love Feast helps people now go, where's this church? I want to hear this preacher. I want to hear what they're talking about. I want to hear what they're discussing, not the other way around. So I would spend all of my concerted effort. In filming the Love Feast. And what that does, Rob, is it gives them they then have something that's exceptional. If they do what I'm telling them, they're not filming just a meal. They shouldn't be filming just the meal. The other thing I told them to do was to take testimonies, video testimonies of the people who come, and then they post those videos. I'm literally giving them the secret formula. That's the sauce. That's the sauce. That's the sauce and the meat. The worship service is secondary. If they could just go out, knock doors, get people to come to a meal, make them feel like they're the greatest thing in the world, they can build a mega church simply off the love feast. That's a guarantee.
I know they could, because they got a lot of love in that congregation. You can feel the spirit in that congregation. You really can. I'll say that.
But see, this is what I have a video right now that says here's the difference. Watch this, Rob. You had to come to that church in order to experience that, which means outside that church, nobody knows that exists. So then the odds of you growing that church that got all that love in it are 0% because nobody knows what that looks like. And your worship service doesn't communicate. If you look at their online service, it doesn't communicate love. It communicates church. The love feast can communicate the thing they can't communicate. And the reason why you put it on large display, social media, is because nobody, just like Rob just said, he can only experience the love y'all have by being there. I'll tell you this. I'm giving this away, but this is gold. I just listened to, and I recorded it to play for us. I just listened to the CEO of Chili's restaurant. I don't know if y'all know what Chili's is.
Mm-hmm.
Chili's for the last 5 years has been 31% over any other restaurant in the business. Financially, they're killing it. They have something called triple dipper. I don't know if you know what it is, but you should write it down. You should write it down and look at it. It's called the triple.
I know.
You should call it. Amen. It's called the triple dipper. My kids go to Chili's probably like at least once or twice a month. Do you know that the triple dipper has been on their menu since that company was founded 20 years ago? Do you know why nobody knew about that? It's because there was no way to communicate the value of what that was. But with social media, you have, just go on social media and type in triple dipper if you think I'm playing. Type in triple dipper on any of your social media platforms, and you will see videos upon videos, all that went viral over people. Watch this. They show people at the restaurant eating the triple dipper. And when other people saw those people eat the triple dipper, they said to themselves, I want to go to that place and eat that triple dipper. So they come simply for the triple dipper. What am I saying? No, if without social media, Chili's had no way to communicate that value. Even though the triple dipper has been at that store for 20 plus years, that no one knows that on the outside. Now everyone knows it. Why? Because they were able to video the value. What's the value? The triple dipper, the cheese pull. So why, in Maywood's position, why would I film something nobody wants to watch? Film the part people want to watch. The fellowship, the laughter, the joy, the prayer, the giving away of $10 to somebody, the food. That's what people want to see. That's the sauce. Literally, Neil could go around town right now, and instead of having a flyer, if they record the love feast, he could take a 30-second clip and show people the love feast. I don't have it up anymore. You weren't in class yesterday, Rob, but I showed him. I did this for a church, the church I was just at in Florida. And I did it because I knew that no one there They were all shocked. They were all shocked. But I took these clips of the church.
And where is this at?
This is at Meridian Woods in Florida. They only have 85 people. They have less than 85 people. If I go to this church, I'm gonna make this church into a mega church. I just filmed them. I just filmed them doing this. Now, what I showed Neil yesterday is there's a app called CapCut. Let me see if I can show that to you. Well, this is bad. It's terrible. And what you could do on CapCut is on CapCut, I'm going to make a video with the videos you just saw. It will literally take me no time at all. And I'm going to make a video. All right. Let's just hold on a second. And I'm just going to make a video of what we just saw. So I'm going to I'm just going to tap this. It'll take me a couple seconds. Let's see if I can find one, right? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to clip those videos that we just saw, right? We just saw those videos of the worship. I'm just doing this real quick. So Neil already saw me do this yesterday. All I'm doing is clipping that clip. That's all I'm doing. And now I'm going to press next, and it's going to make a video of this. I'm going to let it load. This is as simple as this. All Neil needs to do. Literally, this is all Neil needs to do. It took me less than 30 seconds to do this. This is any church. That's the clip you just saw a second ago, remember?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. You did that with that app?
In less than 30 seconds. In less than 30 seconds. And then in 30 seconds, I can send that to any Facebook, any TikTok, any Instagram. I can send it anywhere. And the thing is that something boring, 30 seconds of very boring clips turns into 30 seconds of people going, well, what is that? It doesn't matter how many people in. It looks more exciting. So with the Love Feast that Neil are doing, it's a knockout punch. He just needs to film the Love Feast. So that's kind of, people, you experience that love of that church, but that love does not translate in any of the platforms that they have. And the Love Feast is designed to do that. It communicates it. They just need to film it and show it. But that's also why I keep telling churches to ditch all of the programs and just do one thing well, really well, extremely well. And again, I don't think the Love Feast is just the Neil thing. Neil, I hope you don't mind that I said that. I think the Love Feast could literally be done at any small church. Matter of fact, it capitalizes on all the things that small churches do well. Let me grab something real quick.
Neil, you still there?
I think he's here, but he's
I know he got to get ready for a meeting.
Yes. Anyway, I really do hope that everything works out with Chauncey. Again, I think he just had it. I think some of his past followed him, unfortunately. Anyway, let's talk about your church real quick, and then we'll be done. Right. What are you doing right now that you feel excited about?
The most thing I feel excited about is my time is about to be free where I can really focus. I can focus now more. I got 4 more days of school. We'll be done with that. I can focus more in these classes because, like I said, I know the importance of them. And I can really I told myself I'm going to take the summer off, even though it's going to be a slight hit to my pocketbook. I'm gonna take the entire summer off and focus really on the church.
Yeah.
Everything that I need to do, everything that we need, you've been discussing in classes, all those little small little things that might make a big difference of importance. That's what I'm excited about. So yeah. So nothing
And
necessarily specifically already in place. The things that have been overlooked, the little small things that we can start doing that can really get, so it can really get my attention. Right now, everything hasn't been really getting my attention the way that it should.
right. I mean, again, one of the things about being bivocational is having to sever your time and maximize your time. Are Neil in? Are you in any kind of scheduling constraints that you've placed upon yourself? So, and when I say that, what I mean is, have you scheduled constraints? So you only have so much of the day that you can give, because you are also working simultaneously. But then there's also, are you giving enough space not only to your job, but also to you personally and to your work? Do you feel like you are managing? Some people would call it work-life balance. I don't. Do you feel like you're managing those three areas in a sophisticated way where you feel like, because again, right now you're having to, do you feel like you're spending enough time in those three hemispheres to where you can say, I'm fulfilling my role on the job, I'm fulfilling my role as a minister, but I'm also fulfilling my role personally?
I can't speak for Neil. Like, I don't believe so now, but I think, like I said, regathering myself over the summer, I think it'll help. It's going to be beneficial if I stay the course and do the things that need to be done when I do get back to the fall. So if I think if just making these right decisions, right choices. I think you said, what's the word you used a while back? Being not discernment, but learning to be more. Not necessarily devoted. Discipline. This discipline. Learn. I think over the summer is going to help me to be more disciplined. Where I'll start making sure that I prioritize what's truly first.
Yeah.
What takes order and precedent in place in life and everything else, in ministry and everything else.
Because holistically, our ministry is sourced from our personal life. So the strength, the mental development, the mental capacity, the mental awareness comes from that the personal time that you're going to invest with yourself.
So we got to learn how to make God intimate in public by making him intimate in private, by prioritizing intimacy with him in private.
And I would say that you will see a direct benefit from how God is choosing to operate with your ministry. There will be a corresponding byproduct.
You are right. You are all right in my book. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, again, I think that what's often neglected in the minister's development is himself.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And the four parts of the human experience that he must have in harmony, so that when he not just steps in a pulpit, because if in the bivocational capacity, and I can tell you this because my father was a bivocational preacher. In the bivocational capacity, sometimes it can be reduced to just the Sunday experience.
Yes.
Because it's so hard to be available Monday through Friday through Saturday, and most of the work that you're doing through that time is more pastoral. It's non-administrative. Very little is administrative. So a part of the day has to start to become focused on my intimate relationship, and harvesting a good portion of my day for myself. So my days are prioritized with me in the morning, so that That's deep contemplation and prayer. That's my personal reading time, study and development, and my personal physical health. Those are the three hemispheres that I prioritize for myself. Nothing comes before or after that. Or everything can come after. Nothing can come before. And I've carved that moment out. And what I've seen as a byproduct is that I'm mentally clearer. I'm clearer in my mental capacity. I'm thinking more focused than I have been ever before. So the reason why I say you don't have to start your day off like I do, but the reason why I think you have to carve out a point of time for yourself, in that prioritizing yourself is where the feeding for what is the most prioritized element at the church will come from. And your ability to be able to focus directly on that thing comes from that harmony that you're creating with you and your personal relationship. And when that equilibrium is off, you will find yourself scampering, trying to do something and nothing feeling like it's really being done, especially in bivocational ministry. It can oftentimes feel like nothing's really happening. Jerron, I know, is feeling this, where he is so busy in his professional world. I can't imagine that he's and what he believes he's doing for the church, he's going to ultimately find out is not moving that church forward at all. And what that tells me is that there's probably a balance. There's an imbalance in his life. And once that balance comes back in place, the thing, it's not multiple things. It's not multiple things at your church. There's there's one thing to work on. There's only one thing to fix. There's only one thing to manage. There's only one thing to govern. It might feel like there are several things, but it isn't. It's just one thing for you to manage, one thing for you to govern, one thing for you to administrate. Everything else is non-important. Number two, it either falls under the most important. Number three, it is to be delegated to non-important compartments so other people can participate in them. But there's only really one very important thing you should be doing at your congregation. Only one important ministry, only one important program, only one important system. It really is just one. So I'm glad that you're excited about the summer. Is it better now congregationally that I think the Goldens have kind of went their way?
I think that it's going to be. I think now that the dust is settling, because I think you're getting to the real heart of those who you've always said there's going to be some Christians that are never going to go nowhere anyway. So You're going to get really to the real heart of everything. So now that dust is starting, I believe, starting to settle. Sometime again, I'll say it. I think you talked about this about a month or two ago. Sometime less is more.
Yes.
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes you need to get to a place where you're almost at the bare minimum so you can start really replanting and building and looking towards, because now you don't have all those obstacles. Now, and you also don't have no more excuses.
Yeah.
You don't have no more excuses.
Are you considering the place where the church is now in terms of its health, and how do we just move on, or do we acknowledge? How do we acknowledge in a comfortable way where we are, so we could try to? Again, I don't always feel like you need to focus on recovery, but the efforts to mend to move forward.
I think you have to acknowledge all of it. That's one of the things I started saying, even since this has been going on, transpiring. I've been very transparent with the congregation, more so lately, when things like this happen, and letting people know and understanding that these things kind of happen. But now it's really about focusing on the future. It's really about focusing on the future and getting a fresh new start and giving yourself a new opportunity. Um, I think I told the church, and I'll start talking about this a little bit over the summer. Is now it's time to define your identity in Christ. Now is the time. Now it's time to really start to define your identity. And from there, what I'm hoping and praying is that they want to now go really, really all the way. And what I mean by all the way, and I keep saying this, people think that it doesn't make a difference. I think it makes a difference. I
Right.
think you rebrand and get a new identity altogether. I think now is the time you let that whole Midtown thing die off and become something different, become
Rebrand.
something new. Rebrand and become something new. Change that name. Let that name go. It has more bad history than it does have good history. People think, oh, you still gonna be in the same location. That's okay, but as long as everybody got a new attitude.
Well, I mean, the location is not really, that doesn't
It
really
ain't the
bother.
problem. That
Yeah.
to me ain't the problem. Because I tell people, what people don't seem to understand, I said we could go to you could go to a brand new facility. I mean, state of the art. A guy that can seat 5,000 people. But if you got the same attitude, the same spirit, what do you got? You don't have nothing. It's never been about the location. It's really about the heart of the people inside the building, that edifice. It ain't got
What
nothing to do with the location.
if you did change I'm not saying that the name has to change or anything like that, but but you're thinking in terms of relaunch. That's kind of what
There
you're
you
you're
go.
saying.
There you go.
In that idea, what is the thing that will become or have you thought about it? The thing that will make people know about this congregation. What is the thing? Every
That
church needs to have something that makes them uniquely stand out from other churches.
Well, I've thought about, but I don't know yet. What I would like to do is, look, we were going to have we were in line to make a deal with Miss Anjanae Ellison. She had came to us and she had proposed, her and her business partner wanted to use that outreach building to run some kind of daycare out of it. And if the deal, we negotiated everything. It fell through because I don't think they could come through with the money for the insurance that was required to run that daycare that was going to be needed. But what it now, it leaves me thinking that there's something that maybe we could do out of that outreach building to attract people. Maybe there's something that we can do now, and maybe we can use that to attract people and possibly even use it to generate income, because it's just sitting there now and nobody's utilizing it. And I think there's something we can do out of there that's going to garner some traffic.
What's in the outreach building currently?
Just mostly some tables, desks, and chairs and stuff. And I told them I said we should utilize it to garner, to create some traction. We should also utilize it to generate income, but we should also utilize it to become our new fellowship hall. We should recreate. One of the first things I like to do over the summer is recreate the hill right there in that outreach building.
So what would the fellowship hall downstairs be?
Just be what it is, that kitchen. So when you having so-called formal stuff, that across the street would be used for informal, to just be more of an informal, laid back opportunities for people to come together in fellowship, unless we were serving a purpose up out of there.
How many members do you think you have now?
Man, probably about 40, 50 on a good Sunday.
Is someone tracking that, or that's kind of?
I have been getting them to take down the numbers, Josiah, but he don't be doing it accurately all the time. But yeah, I've been usually on Sundays when I'm gonna start them back up again this Sunday. I'm gonna get an adult to start doing it, to track and do the count, to start doing that count.
And Joe and Ray are there. What about Stanley?
Stanley is more visible. He's coming on Sunday, but so Stanley problem is this. He got into a situation where he could be more active and be there at the church, on Sundays. But then he wind up he ran into an issue with his employer and they terminated him. So then he started, now he's hustling and running here and running there, trying to generate income because he don't want to have all those issues at home. And so he's still not and he says he wants to be more active. And that's the whole thing. I need him to get more active. Same thing with Joe. I need him to get more active. Ray has got more since Sister Milton died, since she passed away, he's become more actually a little bit more active and a little bit more engaged and involved, but not necessarily Joe and Stan just yet.
Are there any young adults there?
Just a handful. We have Quentin who will bring his kids sometime. We have still Joe got his Josiah is now like 16, I think 15 or 16. London, who's I think just getting ready to turn 13. Then we got like quite a few young kids.
Well,
when you say young adults, no, we some of the young adults, yeah, we do. We still got like all the Goins girls still all come there. Shemaya came back. She's bringing her kids. She's back there again. We do have some young adults when they show up, not consistently, but when they come, we do have some young adults.
But the age of the church, what would you say?
I say the age still is it's a break. So you still got a fair share of seniors, you got middle-aged people, and you still got quite a bit of young families. You still have that. So it's kind of a little scattered all over the place right now.
Young families as in men, women, and children?
No, a lot of these are single parents coming up in there, or single people with no kids. I got a couple brothers that come up there that don't have no kids.
Single parents, with kids. And if the Lord was to give us 2027, what would be your outcome? What would you want to happen for that church?
Right now, I want them to get spiritually healthy and then hungry again for ministry. I want them to get spiritually healthy and get hungry.
What does that mean?
Excited and want to get out there and evangelize and bring and encourage people to come to worship.
What do you have to make them? What do you have currently in your toolbox that would get people to do that? So
nothing right now. Nothing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said this summer is crucial. It's critical that over the next 12 weeks, whatever, how many weeks 12 weeks that I'll be out for the summer are critical. They are critical.
But what do you think you need? Again, if you're trying to get people, you really want people to
structure.
Be able to...
A little bit more structure. A plan. An actual plan.
Okay.
A real plan. Not just looking busy for the sake of being busy, doing this or throwing stuff at people. A real, legitimate plan.
But it's so in that plan, do you feel that any of the people that are at the church, could you list 5 people who could help you execute that plan?
Realistically?
Yes.
No, I can name you 10, 12 people that say they'll do it. Oh, I would love to do that. But all fizzle out on me. That's what they typically do. They'll all volunteer. Oh, I want to be part of that. I'll help. I want to do that. I want to see that happen. I'm excited. But I can't really depend upon them.
So I'm just saying, could you give me 3 names that you know you could depend on?
Well,
other than yourself.
Other than myself, I would say more than likely, probably, no, ain't no probably. Ray's at a place now where he'll get busy. He'll help out. as I scan through my mind, those who want to, that I can count on. Oh, Sister Goins. She's been
Who is
really
that?
good. Sister Goins. That is, she got all those daughters. She's related to Sister Price. Sister Price was her mother. Sister Goins is a is a thin, wiry lady, short with glasses.
Natalie Goins?
Yeah. That her, yeah, Natalie Goins. Her, she's good at staying. You know, if I give her a task, she stays on it. She does it. Other than her, mm, uh, dependable wise, off the top of my head, I thought Terrence was gonna be that guy, but he done
No,
fizzled out already.
no,
He came to work. I thought he was gonna be dependable, but he's done fizzled
never.
out.
I would have never depended on Terrence.
No, I thought he was really excited and active for a minute, but that done fizzled out already.
No,
So
Terrence is only that way because he just got out of jail. As soon
right,
as Terrence gets comfortable back
yep,
into
and
the
he
fact that
went
he's
back.
free, he's going right back into the same unsavory element
He did,
that caused
and
him to go in jail in the first place. The
he
recidivism has
did
not
it.
worked for him. He's
Yep,
46 something years old, still acting like he's 20. I would never depend on him. And I love Terrence, but he's not
I
dependable.
do too.
Um,
I have a guy just like that at my congregation, man. He shows up, boom, boom, boom. I start leaning into him, he disappears.
right. Yeah, so how are you going to form a plan that's going to ultimately depend on one person?
Well, right now I said I got two people off the top of my head that I can go to, and I know that if I say, hey, let's do this, they're gonna follow through and do it. And they're gonna stay consistent about it. Beside myself, then like I said, then there's myself. So I can that's the great thing about over the summer. I where I can't necessarily just hand off stuff, I'm gonna have to be really hands on myself.
I think if you ask me that you need to have something to develop the people that are already there. Before you
Okay,
put something in place, before you do anything, your plan needs to be
development.
to develop what you have, not
Okay,
not just spiritual health and hunger. If and I can't consider myself as a part of the process. I have 40 unskilled laborers currently. That's what I have. I have 40 unskilled laborers that are a part of my company, and yet none of them, according to what we've heard so far, are skilled enough in order to carry out anything. So I need training and development. What's the training on? The training needs to be so I would call it kingdom priorities, because I need people to now begin to understand what does the kingdom look like and what are the kingdom priorities. And I'm going to train and develop you in for the next year. We're not going to do anything but train and develop everyone here. And we're going to train and develop them around a one priority. One priority. Again, this is why I say a monotask. We don't need a whole bunch of programs. We need one thing that we're about to do, and get all 40 people to participate in that. And
okay,
that in my opinion, that's the plan. The plan is not to launch anything. The plan is to train everyone on how to do whatever the one thing we're about to do. And all I'm going to train you on is the very simple role you have in the full picture of this process. So, for instance, if we just decided and again, I would not do anything to detract from Sunday currently. because
Okay.
you don't have the manpower to pull
Nope.
off anything adjacent to that. So everything needs to focus around the one moment that everyone is coming there, which is the same reason why I asked Neil them to do the love feast. Let's focus all of our attention on this moment and design out of this moment something that will get people talking.
Okay.
That's how I would do it, because then the Racine is not that big. Racine is not that big. It's way smaller than Maywood. And when the news goes out that Midtown is redoing itself, that will be enough in and of itself. And I would not only that, I would write this down. I would be filming the training process.
Okay.
I would take clips of the training process. And if nobody else does it, I would get back on Facebook Midtown and I would be posting, here we are in training, getting ready for our new launch. And I would just continue to post those pictures. I would post those videos. While Sunday's going on, again, you can still do Sunday. You ain't got to change your Sunday, because everything else is structured around, even the Sunday morning Bible study. If you're doing Bible study, I'm not sure, would just be training. If you're doing Wednesday, it would just be training. So I can separate Ray. I'm going to first tell them what the plan is. The plan is the center. Let's say that if you were doing the love feast, the same as Neil, then Ray would take a part of the group and be training them on this one aspect to get the love feast going. If Natalie's the other person, then Natalie would take the other part of the group and train them on this second aspect. And then you, as the third person, would train them on this third aspect. If Joseph and Stan were actually in the mix, then they could break that down even further. You'd have 5 people to break this down to. I'm not training you on the whole system. I'm training you on this one aspect of. So if it was the love feast, Ray would train the greeters.
Okay.
Natalie would train the entreaters, the people who go around and get people to come and ask people to come. Joe would train the social media people. So everybody the 5 people that would be with Joe would learn that they need to use every time we have worship, every time we in class, every time the greeters go out, y'all get y'all phone and y'all filming somebody. Period. And then Stanley would train people on the love feast element of bringing food in. That's all y'all. Everyone's just getting trained on one aspect, and then then Sunday, every service, every sermon is focused on the messages are centered around love feast. The messages are centered around kingdom purpose. The messages are centered around unitedly working together, driving together. The idea is that's all it would be about. That's how you structure and plan one idea that and eventually it gets to a point where you're not having to manage, where you're not having to govern it. You are managing it. And people, again, at a certain point, you should be able to step out of the 5 people that you were training. You should be able to step out and put someone else in your place to train the 5 people that you were training. No one gets out of training. And again, you could say we got 5 areas that we need someone in. And again, you don't have to get the whole. You can get part of the church has to still do the collection, communion, and all that stuff, I guess. So you can still have people to set aside for that, for the worship experience. But you set every group aside and you just train each group. That's all y'all want you to do. If there's a group that's going to do a kids church, this all I want you to do. In the kids church, you're going to teach what we're talking about, how to be a part of the love feast, how to be a part. So again, it becomes streamlined to make it super simple for you to do, because your issue is that you have a people problem, and the people problem can be solved by investing back in those people. I'm going to take the time to train and develop you on what the new idea, face, brand, direction of the Midtown Church of Christ, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be for henceforth. And whatever you're going to call it, whatever you're going to do, should be the one. We are doing one thing and one thing well. We're not doing a bunch of stuff. And then as new people come in, they should be cycled into those groups that will continue to be trained on how to do what they do. There's somebody will go, well, ain't they gonna get tired of being trained? No, because, well, they are. Eventually, you're gonna train them to the point where they should be able to train new people. But you're gonna keep them in training until everyone is trained and knows exactly their job. They know how to. They know what they're doing so well that they can train other people.
But I think that's something that we need to discuss then. So what the training needs to be about then.
Well, again, I would say that you don't. The training, the structure and plan that you're talking about needs the structure is training and development and the system that's put in place. You first have to say, what is the plan? The plan is, what is the one thing this church is going? You're already doing church. You're already meeting on Sunday. What is the one thing that we can do that will drive people to this church? What is the one thing that only we can do that's going to make us exceptional? We are going, and again, the thing we're going to do is going to become the brand and the face of this church. It could be that we're going to have a after church, we go to the former outreach center and we have a fellowship. I don't know. It could be that whatever we're going to decide that the church is going to do, there's some study that needs to be given to this. What is not being done in that city? So it is clear, at least from a casual reading standpoint, that you are stronger in getting single parents at that church. To me, that would be overtly clear. You get single parents a lot. So then the question becomes, what is the one thing deficient in single parents in Racine? What is the one thing they don't have in Racine? What is the one thing they're not getting? That's going to become the value that we can provide. What is the one thing Midtown Church of Christ can provide for single parents that no other church in the area can provide on Sunday? On Sunday. That's what we're trying to do. Again, I'm just throwing this, I'm spitballing to you.
Right.
But if we were going to say single parent, we don't have to say single parents. We can say families.
Okay.
But it seems to me that, and I can say that because I used to be at the church, it seems to me that single parents make up a large majority of the church, and some singles. So what is the one thing? And if you could, so we don't want just single parents, but single parents tend to struggle because one, they're on their own. Two, it becomes a burnout for them raising their children. So time from kids. So what can we do? If it could be something, it could be kids church. Okay. So we're about to create a kids church, the best kids church experience for single parents that they've ever had. And we're going to take the outreach building and make it into the best kids church facility ever. And now we're going to create a church geared around our kids church. That even and again, so there's a plan. That's the plan. The structure then is, what is the system that we're going to use in order to not only get single parents in, but then keep the single parents busy while their kids are having this unbelievable time. So then we're going to train a group of people to do kids church and to create the best kid church that's ever been in Racine. We're then going to train another group of folk on how to keep adults and how to entertain those adults. And what do we need to do to keep those adults? So it's that becomes the linear platform. Do they need classes? What kind of sermons do we preach if we're trying to get single families into our church? What kind of songs do we sing if we want to get single parents in our church? What kind of colors, environment? What is the worship setting they need to see in order to get single parents to go, you know what? I think this will be a great place for me and my children. And then as soon as those single parents start coming in, not just when they come in, but before they come in, all the 30-second clips, all the 5-second clips needs to be videos of the training. We're training people in order to serve the kids in Racine for single parents. We're training adults so that the adults can be exactly what single parents need in Racine. And you just posting. Then you launch. And your launch is going to be similar to what Neil them do. Either every month, every other month, or every 3 months. You don't start with every single Sunday because you'll burn the church out.
Okay.
So you start with every month, every other month, or every 3 months in order to, after we trained, now we need to execute the plan. So that means that we need our awareness team, the team that's going to go out and make people aware. The people we're making aware are single parents who are looking for, and again, what we're looking for is the pain point. The pain point is that, and Rob, I can show you how to brand, how to market that whole thing. In other words, on the outside of the church, when people walk to the building, there should be signs outside that go, welcome, single parents. This is the place you need to be at. You need to be, I'm talking about you can, okay. All right. But you design the whole church around that. And then you train everyone for individual roles that actually execute that. And that's, you don't have to, you can spend the first 3 months to 6 months in just after you develop the plan. So let's say the first 12 weeks of your summer, you're developing the plan. And then after those 12 weeks, you're then executing the training of that plan. And then you actually then start the first launch of that plan. Those two things, the development of the plan and getting everyone on board, the training of that plan will get people spiritually healthy and hungry to begin telling people about what's about to happen. And so that's what I'm saying. You need one linear plan, and the structure becomes how we're going to train and develop people to execute that plan, which becomes a system that is put in place, and it becomes the new model for the church. This is how our church operates. That's what I would say. That way you don't burn yourself out with trying to come up with something, and then when people don't get involved or invested in it, by those 12 weeks will all seem for naught, because you'll just get, again, with Neil's church, the issue that Neil has is the same problem. He hasn't been able to train people on what to do.
Right.
And I didn't ask him. I asked him the same question I asked you. I just need 2 people. Just start with 2 people who can be trained. The training is more important than anything else in that church right now. Training someone else to do it so that they can then train other people. And that's why if it's Ray, it's fine. If it's Natalie, that's great. But training those 2 and then training them to then get someone else to train. And it's going to ripple through the rest of the church, because now you have a training pipeline. And again, we can work on that on our Saturday classes. Let's just grind it out. But that way, when you get the time off, you're not having to sit there and have to use your 12 weeks. Your 12 weeks should be, I've already got the model, I've already got the plan, and now I'm going to now spend my 12 weeks in the execution of it.
Okay. I think that's
So
great.
we just, if
That's
you know,
again, that's a plan. That's an actual plan.
yeah, we
Just
can
doing
use
that
our
as a plan.
Saturdays for that. We can use our
Yeah.
Saturday classes to develop that plan. I mean, it works in conjunction with Neil anyway, because Neil is still again, plans don't work if you don't follow them. Neil group was successful so far because they did what I asked them to do. They have stopped doing what I asked them to do. They stopped. So I told them to go out every weekend prior to the event and go knock some doors, go talk to people. They don't use Facebook because they much older church than yours is, and they wouldn't do that. So they're going to get frustrated after a while. Even though they have a plan that works, they aren't working their plan. They're not working their plan. So he'll continue to do the love feast because he needs something to feel like he's doing something, but he's not doing something. The thing he should be doing is working the plan by training the church on how to execute what I told them to do. Going out, knocking doors. Once you get the information, calling those people for the information, getting greeters to greet those people, the whole love feast part of it. All of those steps is what he should be training people for. So we can come up with a plan, but the training is the most important part of it.
Well, that's the plan then. The training is the plan.
Yes, if you don't train those people, then you will be expecting them to do what they won't do. And the reason why the church doesn't get involved is not because they don't want to get involved, it's because they're not trained to do it.
I agree. Yeah. But like I said, that becomes the plan then. The training becomes the plan.
Yes, sir. Because once I already know what I'm doing, here's what we're doing as a church. And then I developed the structure. The structure is, here's the system that we're putting in place in order to execute that plan, which involves training of these people. All I'm doing is following the plan, the structure at that point to execute the plan. And if I see that it actually works, I don't deviate from the plan. I continue to follow that structural plan. I follow the structure. And the harder you hit it, once you know it works, the harder you hit it, the greater the impact.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll start. If you want me to, I'll start working on something.
Yeah, if you would. Like I said, because the time has come out. I guess I just got 4 more days, man. Next week, we only got to do, I got to get Monday through Thursday, and then that's a wrap. I'm finally freed up. I'm done. I'm done with that for the at least for the summer. Like I said, I got those 12 weeks. And I've already committed myself to doing that, the work. That's my commitment is to the work. I'm putting everything else on the back burner and putting everything about the church right now in the forefront. So, yeah, definitely. That sounds great. That's a plan.
And I'll send you something this week. I'll send you something by tomorrow. Lord's willing.
Okay. All right.
Send to Rob. The social media element will be the most important part of this because
I think that is important.
It will take away the when you say door knocking and all that stuff, people get very skeptical on. Although I believe grassroots still works, social media will become a big part of it because Midtown has not been communicated on social media, so most people don't even know it's still alive. Yep. Once they start seeing that Midtown is posted, and we're not looking for this, but I'm gonna just tell you, once Midtown start posting again and posting what it's about to do, most of the members who frayed away will begin to start just peeking. You'll see them ducking in every now and again to kind of see what's going on, because the social media will become the linchpin to pull people who were on the fringes of the church and who scattered away. They still there in Racine. They're just not there. So that the social media will become the key. The social media is just filming the behind the scenes of us working and getting things together. And again, the more you could get the leadership on board, the easier it'll be to implement.
Yeah. I think too. Also, I think it'd be good for them. I think again, the training and all that stuff would be. I think that's a great place to start. And that's for myself, that's for them as well. And I think that'll help also give them some guidance and some direction. Because I think a lot of people have a fear to do anything because you told me you asked me to do something, but you didn't give me no training on how to do it.
Correct. All right. All right, I gotta go because I gotta take a call.
All right.
Real quick. All right, love you.
No problem.
I'll call you back.
All right.